Hello, friends. How are you today? Well, I have a video for you, and it's going to be on the image on the Schumann. It's two waves with a bridge in between. And what I've determined, the human experience, the meaning of this electromagnetic energy by us and for us, and about us as a civilization, the human race. I've determined that it is, let's play this out. Let's play this out. And I'll tell you how I came to that conclusion in a minute here. So the image is of two things alike that aren't together. They're two things alike that are apart from each other. And if you look at the red, yellow, orange image in the center and you flip the image upside down, then what you'll see, in my view, is you'll see part of a bridge. It's so amazing. It's so amazing how much sense this image makes to me. Now, I want to tell you something. Why do I flip images upside down? And at other times, I will double and reverse them. And the reason is because, in my view, that reflects our subconscious energy, our subconscious thoughts, emotions, experience, like what our heart desires or what we are perceiving, the truth of what we are perceiving. And I'm just going to say, you might be able to tell, but I'm in the process of healing from the head thing that happened to me that I made my last video on. And so I'm going a little slower because I'm in a mind state that hopefully I'll get time to talk to you about. If not, then I will talk to you about it in another video, because I think that this is kind of like a message for us about what's the best state to be in at the moment. I'll get to that in a second. So I have some notes here. So I'm going to look at those. So it's super interesting because the other side of the image has a great divide. A great divide, friends. There's like no way of getting to it. It's just solid blue chasm. That's what it is, okay? So I want to do a technical analysis for you first. So we're going to go through the frequencies, amplitudes, and qualities. I will have images and pictures of this on my Substack. And I'm going to tell you the Substack is a little delayed because it is going to be a little delayed. It's easier for me to upload this than it is to cut and paste, edit, and then put in pictures. So, you know what? I'm just asking you to bear with me here. And I'm really a perfectionist when it comes to my work content. And this is going to have to be perfect. That's all I can say. You know, I might be able to add them in at the end. All right, so I'll try and do that. Okay, so now, where are we? So the frequencies, okay, I want to address those first. It was so interesting. So there are 4 resonances on the Space Observing System chart. And what was interesting to me is that even though the image shows two things apart from each other, one side seems to want to make a bridge to the other. The other side is like facing this incredible chasm. It can't get across to the other side, even if it wanted to, or the beings that represent that wanted to, or the parts of us that represent that wanted to. And that's interesting. But the frequencies of all 4 resonances throughout this image are moving together. They all flow in the same general wave pattern. And I thought that was interesting. And the reason, in my view, that that's interesting is there is a we're all in this together aspect. We're all in this together truly. And what I mean by that is the light and the darkness work together. We feel when we're incarnated in human form that we oppose each other, that the light opposes the darkness. Yet this is not the case. One side could not exist without the other. And that's why when you get pulled to one extreme or the other, and this would be, the example would be the extremes of the Overton window get pulled, okay? Then what happens is that side flips and turns into the other side. Okay, that's a different video, but it's pretty cool, but it's true. And it's how physics works. It's how the energy of this works and flows. So the frequencies all move together. So that told me that we're all aligned in how this is going and what we are doing together. But what happened is after the bridge image, the frequencies, all four resonances again started to flatten. And on a recent write-up and video, I explained this phenomenon. But essentially, I'm going to make a prediction for you of the meaning of this. The meaning of this is that we will be, the plan is apparently that we are perceiving as the human collective, is that we will be subject to like a herding of us, an attempt to herd us into a direction like you would herd cattle or sheep. And that's what we're perceiving. And it's interesting because the qualities are low, but the qualities of the green are under 15. And on other videos, I've explained the meaning of this, but essentially there's a double-sided meaning here. On the one hand, we're perceiving something coming at us, and it's like we're ducking. We duck under 15. And in the silence, we maintain our connection, our truth. And so it's kind of like, the Christians in communist China who have to, have secret church in their homes. Or it's kind of like the Irish under the British occupation and how they had to conduct their mass in the wee hours of the night, 2 a.m, they'd be hiking. And not only would they be hiking, but they would have symbols for this is what this means in the mass. This is what, these rocks mean, a part of the mass. The trees in here mean a part of the mass. And that way, if they were stopped by any British soldiers, they could say, oh, we're just out on a hike. So they were covered, right? They were covered by God, you could say, but they were also covered by human strategy. So that's what we're looking at. And you could say, should we not step forward and be stronger, and then maybe that propaganda wouldn't come at us? And so these are individual choices that are determined by our connection with God, by the communion there and how we are guided and what we are guided to do. When you are in communion, you are guided from the light or the darkness. What do I mean by that? I mean that I'm talking about a regular human being. Our strongest skill sets can be on the shadow side of our personality. They can be in that deep chasm, right? That at times we feel like we can't reach into. That represents, in a way, a leap of faith, okay? A leap of faith. And when you do shadow work, when you address the monster within yourself, which I've spent years doing, okay? I've spent years finding, the Dark Queen. I've spent years finding, the various aspects of myself and then giving it to God. And it was horrible. It was very stressful. It was, did I ask God to just, I'm sorry, like this, I don't see how this could ever be healed. And just ask God to just, in that moment, just like, at one point I actually asked to be particleized because of the horrible, 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 horrible memories. And guess what God said? He did not do it. He said no. In fact, Archangel Michael showed up by my side in spirit, but clear as day to me, and said, stop it right now. Stop what you're doing. And, it's hard to explain because it's not in words. But what he said was, be the truth of who you are. Be the soul you're meant to be. Do the work that you've seen, that you're guided to do. The rest of it is in the past. It was present in the grand scheme of things for just a moment. Then God the Creator has already forgiven you and blessed you for your bravery. Because you see, as a human, we only understand the negatives of what we've done, and then we, get into this blame and all this stuff. But from the perspective of the Creator, if you ask, you will be shown that you showed up at a time you needed to, and you did the hard thing. You were willing to do it in service to God, in service to the Creator, from the center of your being, from the soul that you are. And my friends, this is where we're at right now. Crossing the chasm. The bridge can only get us so far. In the greater world, in external events, we see how things will play out. But in our personal lives, do what is meant for you to do between you and God, between you and the soul that you are. Unburdened by, sorry, I'm going to give you an unburdened and a cackle. Unburdened by the judgments you've held on yourself. Be the wholeness that you are meant to be. And don't let anyone else demoralize you, tell you what this means, even give you advice. What's between you and God is perfect. It is. Gosh, that felt good.